voices of the elderly people who has now no homes. Their homes are or destroyed in the last war, and unfortunately, the UN and Israel actually negotiated a kind of recovery process. A recovery process according to Oxfam, International Humanitarian Organization, that the recovery process of rebuilding of the houses or rebuilding Gaza Strip, according to the estimation of Oxfam International, will take 100 years. So it means those houses we rebuild will take in average 100 years, because it's very slow process. And the Israelis, they decide from their offices in Tel Aviv or in any city inside Israel, decide, okay, that house deserve to be rebuilt or not, according, certain quantity, according to their own assessment, and they use the GPS. Okay, that spot, need exactly how many tons of cement and raw materials and all these things. So it's very slow. The people now, they live even in the winter, and even in the summer. The people, they cannot. See, they live in zinc houses that is incompatible for, and what they call it? We call it caravan. Not like the caravans what we have here in Ireland or in Europe, just drive it and use it like for a picnic or entertainment. No, it's it's incompatible according to the humanitarian standard. They live in zinc houses, which is very, very severe winter and very hot summer in the Middle East. So this is the case, So imagine little children, they live in zinc houses, they have no electricity, they have nothing to live, and the basic needs of the Gazian, actually the Israelis, they calculate the basic needs, and they allow this allowed and that is not allowed. This is the disaster that faced, the humanitarian disaster that the Gazian have been living for now 10 years exactly. And another story in the West Bank. If anyone visited the West Bank, will see more settlements, more settlers, more new roads for the Israelis, and special roads for the Palestinians, kind of separation. And the walls, the separation walls, this is another story of confiscating the land and control the Palestinian life, control the Palestinian access, and control the water and certain issues, and moving the Bedouins from one area to another. It's in one way or another, in different words, it's kind of violating the international humanitarian law. That's what's going on in Gaza. So Gaza has its own story, the West Bank has its story, and the Israelis decide what is the future of any basic Palestinian. This is, unfortunately, this is the situation of the humanitarian issue in the West Bank and Gaza. So now the group, and my group, working in order to bring the voices, to send the voices, to tell the world and the decision making in different places in Europe and in the West, that look, this is the process of rebuilding the houses of the people for now more than 18 months. It's nothing. It's crap. Nothing is going on. So just it's propaganda from the international community, from the Israelis, and all the pledges of the finances going for nothing. So the people are still suffering, and the situation are very fragile, and the Israelis is using their propaganda to launch a new war in Gaza. And in the last few weeks, say, okay, the Gaza, they digging tunnels, they use the tunnels and to attack the Israelis. So how it works? In the last war, the Palestinians, they lost more than 2,000, exactly more than 2,300 people, mostly from the civilian women, elderly children, and they are killed by the Israelis. So the same time, the Israelis, they lost 76. Look, more than 2,076. What's kind of balance? It means the numbers speak about what's going on in the ground. So the Israelis, they repeat the same story, they repeat the same narration that the Palestinians attacking us, means the Israelis. So how it works, the numbers, 2,000 for 76. So they don't want any Palestinian to say no. They don't want any Palestinian to say this is our right. We need independent, free Palestinian state. Although the Palestinians, they gave up more 78% from historical Palestine. the historical Palestine, which is today is Israel. So the Palestinians say, okay, we give up 78 percentage, and please. So now they are begging the Israelis, please give us 22. This is the situation. Although yesterday Netanyahu said that the two solution dead. Israelis, the most powerful country in the Middle East, with the arsenal, with the artillery, with the nuclear power, says, okay, no two-state solution, gone. So the Palestinians have been negotiating now for more than 22 years for nothing. And then say goodbye, no two-state solution. So now some or few numbers of the Palestinians started to talk about one-state solution. Okay, that's it. Let's, because you are using the same model of the South Africa, the same model that, ended up in the early 90s, South Africa. So the same was going on today in the West Bank, and, it's about, nearly 1.5 million Palestinians living inside Israel. Also, they face kind of discrimination, and, more than 2.5 million Palestinians in the West Bank living in separation, different roads, different villages, and kind of segregation, isolation, and collective punishment. And the story of Gaza, everyone knows about it. I have been speaking about it, and everyone knows from the media what's going on in Gaza. This is, the kind of separation and isolation, and the main violation according to international humanitarian law. The humanitarian law is, the story of that, it's absent in Palestine. It's absent, totally is absent in Palestine when you talk about, Israel and the Palestinian and all these violations. So now, so the youth started in October a new wave of, the Palestinian called it popular resistance. Popular resistance in the West Bank, and relatively speaking in the Gaza Strip, or in certain occasions in the Gaza Strip. So now the numbers again speak about itself. In the last 4 months, nearly 180 Palestinians killed. 180 Palestinians, mostly from the youth, and some of them the women as well as, and the Israelis 25 approximately. So it's kind of a new wave of resistance in the Palestinian, and those youth saying, okay, we are fed from the situation, we actually achieving the Palestinian statehood through the peace process gone, because the Israelis, they creating a new facts on the ground, and targeting Gaza from time to time to keep the Palestinian division, to have their own calculation according to Israeli political domestic calculations. This is the story, what's going on in brief in the political arena and the political context in regard to the Palestinian question. We want to take here Gaza Strip as a case, because Gaza Strip is not Palestine. Always we speak in our own terminology, in our own lectures, in our own expressions, and even in our own ideology as a Palestinian. Gaza Strip is not Palestine, because in the last few years the Israelis tried to drag the Palestinian that Gaza Strip is Palestine and forget the others. So now the regional developments in the Middle East, that the Israelis, they use it to let the Palestinians, okay, this is your own state in Gaza Strip, and forget the others. And they're trying to have some kind of politics with some regional actors in the area. So once again, Gaza Strip is just, the little pictures, what's going on in Palestine, and the Israelis every time from one year to another targeting Gaza Strip, and to keep the Palestinian division, keeping the Palestinian as, in one way or another, the Israelis managing a crisis, not solving the crisis, not solving the problem, not giving anything for the Palestinian, even though they are the main power, the major power, nuclear power in the Middle East. So it means, in other words, they can't hear. They are not worried from anyone. So they don't believe in solving or in peace, or even maintain and restore the international law and the international humanitarian law. So Gaza Strip is the small picture of the Palestinian suffering. Of course, the Palestinians are suffering in Lebanon, in the refugee camps in Syria. Also, most of the Palestinians from the civil war in Syria, they were dragged, or they expelled, or they forced them to leave the Syrian to unknown area. So this is the Palestinian suffering. So Gaza, it's a unique in its suffering because it's locked. It's a small, tiny area. It's the mostly densely populated area in the world. So like nearly less than 400 square Gaza Strip. So it's about 2 million people living in that spot. According to the humanitarian reports of the UN, in 2020, the Palestinians will have no access to water. So what does it mean? They have no basic access to the water. Even currently, they access the unhealthy water. And if we look to the records of the health, Ministry of Health, the WHO, you will find disaster statistics about the health situation, the children's situation. Unfortunately, every year it's about 7,000 cancer cases recorded by the Palestinian Ministry of Health in Gaza Strip because the humanitarian situation in Gaza Strip. So the local organization, like what personally I do, and I believe that the organization work. It's one among the other local organization managed by young people who actually they want to have or seek or look for a new hope, a new life. They want to live in peace. They want in freedom. This group of youth and the others, they actually work very hard with very little resources to help their fellows, to help their mothers, to help their children in psychological support, in humanitarian relief, in sending their voice to the world that there is a humanitarian crisis, and all free world, all free communities should help them to solve this problem. And as the majority of the Palestinians in Gaza Strip, they want to live in peace, they want to live in tranquility, they actually be seekers. And by myself, I founded this organization in 2001 in order to train the young people on these values of non-violence, of peace, humanitarian law, human rights, women empowerment. This is the basic things. But unfortunately, imagine that young people who actually dream to have family, to have children, and to live in their own life according their own life of style, from one day to another they have war. They have shame, bombing, killing, and all these things. How can they manage? How they can live? How they can survive? So most of them, unfortunately, and I'm very sad here to say that they rely on international support, international aid, the foreign aid. This is unfortunate because the Palestinian, they are very educated. The young Palestinian people, they are very educated, and according the education statistics, they are the most educated in the Arab world. They are very most educated. Look, to the PhDs, the master, the PS, all of them are educated because they believe their investment in education. They believe in people. They want a chance. They want to live. They want to live. They want peace to actually to exercise their knowledge. And most of them, like us. I, for example, unfortunately, just remembered, two of my friends. We used to play soccer together, football. A few just more than 15 years ago. Both of them they had families. Both of them they decided once to get on the ship, one of the ship, the death ship from Libya across the Mediterranean to come to Europe. They sought a new life, a new freedom, but unfortunately now they are missing. Even their families don't know they are killed. They don't know about their fate. They have children, they have families, because they tried, to escape the situation, the humanitarian situation of Gaza. They tried, to find a safe haven in Europe. Unfortunately, it's their boat, among the others, is wrecked and destroyed in the Mediterranean, and no one knows about them. It's a very disastrous situation. It's now more than It's nearly more than 1 year and a half. No one knows about them. And I personally, I played with them soccer for many years. This is the case of two young people actually who left this life without doing anything about them. This is, my mission, myself, and my fellow here, my friend, that, this is to show the free people. That is the case of the Palestinian. Well, to be honest with you, I'm not happy to to speak talking about very disaster humanitarian issues, because, everyone would like, to spend another time, go and to enjoy it, and not to keep, think all the time, remembering these facts, horrible facts. And unfortunately, when you look, when you find Palestinian woman wakes up at 2 o'clock a.m. to manage her house. Why? Because unfortunately, she has only 3 hours or electricity. Just, because, the electricity, they have kind of a program. And it's her program gonna 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock a.m. or 6 o'clock. So actually remanaged her life because of electricity. The Israelis in 2000, unfortunately, they destroyed the sole power station in Gaza Strip. Although the Gaza Strip, they have a shortage of power and electricity. They destroy it. And even the fuel of the station goes through Israel. So Israel actually controls everything. Just only, even now, the air, to breathe it, just to control it. And I think sometimes it, poison it by the gas, by shooting from the air, from the ground, from the sea. Because all gas now is kind of pollution of the wars. Use all illegal weapons against the civilians and destroying the poor infrastructure of Gaza Strip. They destroy it, unfortunately. And imagine that, even I spoke with a friend of mine, and I told him, okay, what's going on? He told me, okay, I'm in the street, and the charger of my mobile in my pocket. The charger of my mobile in my pocket. Why? He told me, wherever I go, to the street, relatives, friends, work, I have to carry my charger. Because once I have the electricity to charge my mobile. This is the story. And he told me that, we wait the day to come and to raise up because we don't want the night. We don't want the night because, we have no electricity. We have nothing to do. We have the light. So even the time to relax and to enjoy it in the current situation, in the winter, in the severe winter, keep sleeping just, for more minutes. No, we don't want it. We work out because, we want the day. The day because, we started to hate the night because no electricity, no basic needs. It's very, cold, even to heat up. Imagine here that, if you have no gas, no electricity, how we can live? How we can live? And even their houses are incompatible, don't fit to bring, kind of wood and to fire to heat yourself. Not compatible because, many cases, many families, unfortunately in the last 10 years, they burnt out. And the children they killed because they use the candles, they use other tools to heat up and to warm themselves. I think, the international community or any people in this civilized world wouldn't accept that. Wouldn't accept that by all means. I'm not here just, it's kind of blaming that side or this side. No, this is, the reality of looking for freedom, looking for a new life, better life. But unfortunately, they are trading the lives of the people in the Middle East, in particular using different weapons from time to the time, using different experiments on the human suffering in Gaza and the other areas in the Middle East. So this is the reality. So the local groups are actually using their skills and they have using their hope to change the situation. This is the only way they can live. And every day, I speak with different youth. Say, okay, we need to get out. We want to go out. We want to leave this country. They lost the hope. They lost the hope. Unfortunately, last month, only, according to just on my knowledge, and more information through the communication, that 10 young people just sitting, passed away. They are fit, well educated, but they lost the hope in life. They didn't commit suicide. They didn't hang themselves in the tree or in the roof, Just, suddenly, it's kind of the pressure. The pressure on them, from the life, everything is closed. No electricity, no basic needs, no jobs, no fund, nothing. And political suffering and political pressure. So the life is very complicated, and the normal people, they couldn't live. But the people, they are very resilient. They want to live, they want to revive, and using their hope. Okay, hopefully tomorrow is better. Hopefully after tomorrow is better. This is the case of the humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip. So the local organization doing fantastically. From my understanding, from my experiences, I work with the UN and the international organization, but they say no. It's the best thing to work with your own people, to use your mind and to use your need according what the people they need. Not according certain international organizations, certain agendas. No, try what do you believe in. How to find the best way to work with your people. What is the best solution and what's the best tool to work please and to get and listen and to send the message of the poor people and the needy people to the other world. And I'm very happy that it's the friends of Palestine, they want to get connected and get engaged with the local organization like Society Voice, and to have the link and to support psychological support the women, support the people in very severe and in very bad circumstances. It's a very good initiative, and I know other local initiative also. They have their own connections with other Palestinian group from Ireland. There are another group. According to my information, they have also their link with other local organizations. This is what we try, to make the links. No intermediary, no kind of moderators or third party or subcontracts. No, from people to people, from youth to youth, from activist to activist. This is actually what we needed. As a human rights activist, we need to work together, not to throw the governments, not to throw the political parties. It's good to work through the political parties, but according what the youth needs. Because all of you, I'm sure all of you, they supported the peaceful movement in the Arab world for change, and then the situation, unfortunately, re-changed again and back to the old days. So we need about 3 people to work with the 3 people and to support the common values, the common issues, the common ground of living together, and to work together for humanity, for human rights, for the good values of all mankind. This is very important. To keep. And once again, I support the initiative of our friends here to support the marathon in April in Bethlehem. I know, and I told Jean here, I know personally the championship. The champion who did last year from Gaza Strip is a friend of mine. And my brother, his coach. And my organization is not a secret. My organization supported this group as well. Supported the champion Nadir al-Masri, who won the champion last year. And I spoke with them, and they will visit there after the marathon, and some connections in Denmark. We supported this group, and this group as well as coaching the same coach, also coaching a new team for the females, for the girls. Imagine, despite the disaster situation, the females and the ladies, the young women also practicing the athletes, the sport, the running. They want to live. They want to change their life. They want to get communicated with others, even though they have no electricity, no basic needs. They are very resilient. They are very strong. They want to change. They want to keep working. Also, I'm very proud. I'm very proud that we supported them in the last 10 years in different occasions. They did in Jordan 6-7 years ago. The first day, the early years of the blockade in Gaza State, they participated twice also in Jordan, and they did a good. And he himself participated in China. So, such this initiative very important, and we support the sport. And I think also I hear that it's even some of the sport activists here in this area also support the Palestinian youth, and they are very interested to keep supporting and to keep working with it. These are in brief some stories about the situation in Gaza, and I'm very happy to listen to your comments, to your questions as well as, and I also that it's all the time trying that's fine, that's good, thank you, and trying to bring our voices as a youth to you and the others what's going in Gaza. It's writing some articles, and this is the latest article that myself, and I mentioned some of the information to you, and also mentioned in the article about the situation, and well, the Israelis, they actually trying to launch a new war in Gaza Strip, and they mentioned, and some of the images here about how the people live in Gaza Strip, and trying to cover their zinc houses from and using like plastic and something to cover themselves, and this is it's kind of trying to bring and the situation to this is like this is one of the examples how this photos reflects the difficulties of the Palestinians and the two little children. It's looking at the houses, the streets and the structures, and this is very awful. And here in Arwa, it's also launch of kind of to support the Palestinian women, and it's one of the international organization, but unfortunately they actually they are doing good work and trying to support the women pledge and women support in food and items in different things, and they also doing a good work like Society Voice as well as, and we mentioned the death of sudden people, sudden death of the youth in the last few years. This is I think some of you just trying to remind look, this is one of the photos in Shijaiya, a quarter that affected by the Israeli bombing in the summer, and this is one story. Look, the swing of one of the children trying to swing over the demolished houses, over the destruction, trying to find a way to live. So trying again, we try to send our voices to the world, and this is what the UN envoy Middle East, envoy to the Middle East. Yes, when he visited Gaza Strip and said very important phrase about what's going on in Gaza, and it's no human being who I was trying to quote him here. No human being who visits can remain untouched by the terrible devastation that one sees here in Gaza, and as shocking as the devastation of the buildings might be, the devastation of people livelihood is 10 times more shocking. This is a report, a witness from UN humanitarian organization. So once again, there's very few number of the visitors, internationals, and unfortunately, just to bring to your attention that even the Palestinian delegation in the European Parliament, headed by our friends Martina Anderson,
It's the MVP.
you know, she's from the north, and she's Sinn Féin, and she's the leftist group in the European Parliament. Even they were not allowed access to Gaza Strip. This is the third or fourth year. Even, you know, it's even as an official European Parliament elected by the people, you know, it's even they are not allowed to access to Gaza. Imagine, because the Israelis, you know, they don't want anyone to report and to see what's going on in the situation there. Even in they have, you know, kind of immunity, diplomatic and political immunity to go to access free access. Even the last year, also the year before in September, another group from Ireland, from Portugal, from Malta, from different, also they were forbidden, not allowed to access to Gaza Strip through what's called areas of checkpoint. This is the reality. Even, you know, it's just quite a few number of journalists, international staff allowed to access Gaza. Why? I don't know. They allow them. They have their own calculations. They have their own, I don't want to say their eyes, whatever, under different, you know, passports, different, you know, agencies. I will keep it, you know, for the scholars, for the others to find it out and discover it. But, you know, why they are not allowing, you know, people like Martin Andresen with the MB, you know, from the European Parliament? What's harm? Is he going to fight them or send rockets? Why? It's very important. Put in our minds. This is, you know, a brief, you know, what's going on, and, you know, I will stop here. And please, if you raise any comments, any feedback, I'm very happy to answer your question.